I am James as James, and I'm here to host Teaching Disability Awareness through My Little Pony Nightmare Nights Edition. My panel will be going till approximately 5 p.m., but if you want to stick around and ask me any questions, feel free to enter the main events chat after my panel is over, and I'll be there for roughly about a half hour to answer any questions anyone might have about my panel. Either way, let's begin teaching disability awareness through My Little Pony Nightmare Nights Edition. So, why disability awareness? Well, one thing I can tell you is I am a person who was formally diagnosed with autism in early childhood, and I have been a fan of My Little Pony ever since I learned about the TV show. And even before, even before I knew about My Little Pony, I have been a self-advocate teaching autism awareness and disability awareness at many events ever since I was a young child. And so one thing that has been a big part of my life is whenever I become a fan of any show or join any fandom, whether it's My Little Pony, whether it's Pokemon or Sailor Moon or Steven Universe or any TV show, one thing that has always been a big part of being a fan of any specific show is looking at ways that any show that I enjoy can be utilized for disability awareness. And one thing that I also want everyone to understand is that disability awareness doesn't mean looking down on any person's limitations. Teaching awareness about a disability doesn't mean that you want people to see disabled people as less of a person because of their limitations. Rather, it's about acknowledging the differences that individuals with disabilities have and realizing that people come in all shapes and sizes and abilities, but it is also a mistake to automatically assume that people with disabilities can do everything. The reality is no one can do everything. All of us have different abilities and different struggles. And so when I refer to disability awareness, I am referring to teaching awareness of the different strengths and weaknesses that people with disabilities have. And the importance of always being willing to teach people who might not be aware of your unique strengths and abilities, who you are. Because in the end, as much as we might want to live in a world where everyone automatically knows us, no one is in anybody's head. Everybody has to figure out from scratch the unique abilities of someone else. We are going to, if we have any disability, we're going to have to teach awareness of our disability as long as we live. And My Little Pony, in my opinion, is an amazing TV show that can be used to teach people awareness of issues among various types of disabilities. Now, I'm also going to make another word of caution. When I talk about disabilities, although disabilities come in different shapes and sizes, and there are different labels and different disability cultures, my focus today is not necessarily any specific disabilities in My Little Pony. Rather, I'm going to be focusing more on traits, issues, and various character traits that appear in My Little Pony that relate to various disabilities at once. But at the same time, what also needs to be remembered is that having a disability in of itself can be subjective. It is, in essence, something defined based on what a culture and a society determines are skills that you are expected to have, whether it's having certain social skills that come naturally to a majority while you struggle with those skills, or in the My Little Pony universe, having certain physical abilities as a pony that other ponies might not have. What constitutes what a person should have in terms of skills differs among different cultures and different universes. And it is always important to remember that being disabled doesn't necessarily have to be something you see as negative. It is a judgment based on standards that none of us created. All of us were born into a society, a culture, and a universe with various developmental standards. And some of us just happen to not always meet those standards. So with that, I am now going to continue with the references from My Little Pony that, to me, represent ways that we can use this amazing franchise to teach awareness of different disabilities. Probably the first reference is the fact that the main six, officially, they represent the elements of harmony, but in many ways, they also represent the elements of disability awareness, because all of them have traits that often appear among individuals with different disabilities. Before I continue, I shall now entertain everyone with an instrument that I enjoy playing, the recorder, with my adaptation of the My Little Pony theme song. The main six represent the elements of harmony. But in many ways, they also represent many elements of disability awareness and many elements of traits commonly found among individuals with disabilities. For example, Applejack represents the element of honesty. But honesty isn't just an element of harmony. Honesty is a trait valued by many people with disabilities. It's actually well known and even stereotypical that when you have autism, you value honesty. Honesty is very important to you. You believe that a person's words should mean what they say and the importance of telling the truth. Other people with disabilities value honesty as well. And that element of honesty may come across to others as being rude and inconsiderate. But honesty for many individuals with disabilities can often be important because sometimes if you have certain communication disorders and you can't understand nonverbal communication, you can't understand nuance in communication, whether it's due to autism or other speech issues, you need people to be honest with you. I see Pinkie Music here saying, my most rewarding experience was when I was going to high school and assisting those who had physical issues to bowl. I get that, Pinkie Music. In fact, bowling was one extremely popular inclusion activity in my high school. In fact, when I was in high school, we had these social inclusion groups, and bowling was part of that group. Every year, the high school inclusion group would go on a bowling trip, and it was one of the most popular things the group ever did because everybody in that group just wanted to be friends with each other, just wanted to enjoy that magic of friendship, the magic of friendship that is so much of the basis of the My Little Pony TV show. At the same time, too, Applejack doesn't just represent the element of honesty. As we all remember, sometimes she really wants to do things by herself and doesn't always like getting help from others. Who here remembers that classic episode where she wants to harvest all the apples in her orchard by herself and doesn't want anyone helping her, even when she collapses from fatigue and works herself to a pretty dangerous level and doesn't sleep when she should? Anyone remember that episode? That trait of wanting to do things a very particular way is very common among people with disabilities, especially when you have a specific way that you need to do things because of your disability that isn't always understood by others. And although obviously Applejack had to realize that she did need help from the other ponies, she couldn't just harvest the apples all on her own. That scene and that character is a great way of teaching awareness to others about why some people with disabilities don't always like getting help by others or may sleep deprive themselves if they're just determined to get something done, even if it isn't always the right thing for them to do. I shall now continue with another amazing character from My Little Pony, Fluttershy. Fluttershy, of course, her signature trait is being shy and experiencing a lot of social anxiety in many social settings. And social anxiety is a very big part of many disabilities. And Although social anxiety can be part of its own disability, an anxiety disorder, social anxiety can be the byproduct of many disabilities. It's basically, in many ways, the byproduct of just living in a world where you've been burned socially, where you've tried to make friends. And sometimes you get rejected, you get hurt. Twist of the Programmer Pone, I wish you the best, but I do want to respond to what you're saying. Absolutely, you are right. The different races of ponies do have their different physical abilities. And just because earth ponies don't have magic doesn't mean they're useless. Absolutely. But just like in the real world, the world of Ponyville has many standards. And the different abilities among the different races of ponies and how they are expected reflects the standards and expectations of abilities in Ponyville. Just like in the real world, our standards of what people should and shouldn't be able to do determine how we view people and what we consider having a disability. So, absolutely, thanks for sharing that. Star Ponies, you mentioned Rainbow Dash becoming a friend for Quibble. That is very much a great reference. Because in many ways, you are right, Star Ponies. Quibble Pants would seem disabled. For an Earth Pony, you're on the right track there. Because ultimately, what determines disability is not our abilities, but how they measure to whatever societal or cultural standard we are following based on what we believe makes someone able or functional. And the fact is, those standards are different culturally. When I was in high school, my mind was blown away when I took child development, and my teacher, an amazing teacher, one of the best teachers I ever had in high school, taught us about the work of a psychologist named Robert Havochurst. Robert Havochurst, she explained, created what is known as the theory of developmental tasks. And he went to cultures all over the world, she said, to study the different expectations cultures had regarding typical development. What makes someone able versus disabled? What are the developmental expectations in each culture? And what he found is that although most cultures around the world have different expectations and different standards as to what constitutes being disabled or not, every culture expects their members to have certain skills at certain times in their lives. And that the concept of ability and disability is universal, even though the details, as he learned, are not. Even the universe of Ponyville has standards. And characters like Quibble Pants and Scootaloo and Star Ponies, you are right that it's sometimes harder for two autistic people to get along with each other. In fact, that's one mistake that is often made. We make the assumption that if two people are disabled, they should be able to get along better, even if they have the same disability. But the reality is, people don't get along just because they share a disability or not. People get along because they have things in common or are willing to adjust to each other. Just like Rainbow Dash, as you mentioned, Star Ponies, became a friend for Quibble because she was willing to adjust to Quibble. Indeed, Fluttershy represents the element of kindness, and so much of being disabled is believing in the importance of kindness and the realization that a disabled person can be shy like Fluttershy, but still be kind. You can upset people, but still have a kind heart inside. Fluttershy may be seen differently because of her shyness, but she still is kind and represents that element. Which leads me to the next character I plan to assess, Pinkie Pie. Of course, what else needs to be said of Pinkie Pie? She's hyperactive. She might as well be diagnosed with ADD or ADHD. And yes, Star Ponies, Fluttershy does come across as one of those girls whose autism is not obvious. But yes, Pinkie Pie might as well have attention deficit disorder. But just like Fluttershy is kind, even though she comes across as shy, Pinkie Pie really isn't a mean pony either. She's just so hyperactive. She just overwhelms so many of the other ponies and doesn't even realize it. But Pinkie Pie also represents another element of disability awareness, and that Pinkie Pie isn't just energetic. She has an interest, a special interest, hosting parties. And lots of people with disabilities have that one interest that means everything to them in their lives. And so many disabled people are looked down on for those special interests. They are told that it's this negative part of their disability. Just like sometimes, Pinkie Pie, especially when Cheese Sandwich comes into her life and she thinks, maybe I shouldn't be hosting parties anymore. While Cheese Sandwich doesn't realize how much he initially upset Pinkie Pie. But to Pinkie Pie, hosting parties is her interest. It means it is her whole life. It's what gives her life meaning. And just like Pinkie Pie and her love for parties is what gives her life meaning, the special interests of disabled people give them their life meaning. Now, before I continue with my panel, I'm going to give another disclaimer to everybody. Usually, when I host this panel, I usually facilitate it as a discussion where audience members usually will come and openly discuss how they feel about My Little Pony and disability awareness. Although I have been trying to answer and respond to the comments in the main events panel, I also have decided that in lieu of a live audience participation discussion, which obviously we cannot have in this virtual forum, I am going to introduce to somebody, a friend of mine, someone with autism who is also My Little Pony fan, to represent the audience member who usually will share their story regarding My Little Pony and disability awareness. Because since there is a large amount of diversity regarding disabilities, no one person can talk about disability awareness alone and cover every subject. This is a subject that is designed to be an interactive subject, a discussion with other people, sharing ideas together. Therefore, please welcome, representing the audience participation that we cannot entirely do in this virtual event with this panel, my friend and a My Little Pony fan with autism, Shane.
Hey guys, how are we all doing? Hope you're having a great Saturday night. And thank you to James for including me in this panel. And I know it's very hard to live with a disability. And through My Little Pony, I have found different ways to express my kindness and to, get along with other people. Because before, I didn't know how to do that. And unfortunately, I have a troubled past. And I hope this doesn't really, tear the heartstrings with everybody. But I lost both my parents at a young age. I'm 25 right now, and when Friendship is Magic first came out, I that's around the time my dad passed away. My last family member. And the second I saw that first episode, I know that my life has changed. And throughout the years, I've actually learned different ways to express myself and how to be kinder to other people. And unfortunately, because of my disability, I have not found ways to do that before. So just like what James said earlier about us having our own particular interest in one thing, mine is music. And so happens, one of my favorite music artists is Sia, Songbird Serenade. And I was very overjoyed to see her play in the My Little Pony movie a few years ago. And so all of us are unique, and all of us who have disabilities are unique as well. And right now, I'm still trying to discover my own special purpose in life. Just like how all the ponies have their own cutie mark, it's what makes us very unique. And I truly believe, even though that the show is no longer on right now, I truly believe that, we can make the fandom thrive, us sticking together, us being kind to each other, that we could really, make this go on forever. And with that being said, James?
All right, thank you, Shane.
Sorry to be so short, guys, but, I hope you all have a great night.
Thank you very much for what you said, Shane. Hopefully, when we can go back to in-person conventions, I will be able to host this panel and facilitate a discussion with many audience members regarding disability awareness and My Little Pony. I am now going to continue with discussing some of the other main characters, continuing with Rarity. Now, Rarity, in many ways, represents another very important reality that people with disabilities face. She represents the element of generosity. And, in many ways, generosity is also a value that people with disabilities share. I mean, when you have a disability, you're going to go through a time in your life when someone is going to be outright nasty to you. And then you're going to have times when there's people that are kind to you, and you may not like them. In fact, you may feel uncomfortable around them, but you sometimes get to a point where you realize if someone is going to be kind to me, if someone cares about me, I want to be generous to them. I want to return that kindness. So yeah, I'll overlook things that I might not like about them for that spirit of generosity. Also, Rarity's tendency to want to engage in so many makeovers and her interest in beauty in many ways can relate to another trait when you have a disability of wanting to make sure you don't appear in a way that you'll upset people, because many disabled people have been in the position where they are judged negatively by their appearance. And sometimes, like Rarity, you can go too far. And yes, star ponies, Pinkie and Rarity might be very mentally ill because of that fragility. But when you think about it, many times your personality and oftentimes a strong personality often is created to mask your fragility. Maybe the reason why Pinkie Pie is so openly happy and bubbly is not because she really feels that way inside, but because she's trying to mask the fragility inside of her. I shall now continue with talking a little bit about Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash representing the element of loyalty. And this goes without saying, loyalty is such an important value for people with disabilities. Just like I said earlier, when someone is kind to you, when someone cares about you, you want to be generous and you want to be loyal to them. People with disabilities can't always be choosy about their friendships. We have to take the friends that are willing to share the magic of friendship with us. The magic of friendship, the Twilight Sparkle studies, is that same magic of friendship that so many disabled people don't always enjoy. So many disabled people are denied that magic of friendship. And one thing that the My Little Pony TV show really demonstrates is that at the end of the day, you have to be loyal to your friends. As a person with autism, there are people that care about me. I have many friends, but there are also a lot of haters in my life that would love to bully me and rip me apart. And in many cases, the very things that my friends like about me are the things that the haters bully me on, that I'm picked on for. And what I've had to realize is that at the end of the day, who's there for me? My friends, not those haters. And those, and at the end of the day, loyalty to my friends is more important than pleasing haters. Loyalty matters more than pleasing people who may never like you. Indeed, I think probably the true antagonist of the show isn't necessarily the Flim and Flam brothers. I mean, even Starlight reforms and becomes a positive character. It's Discord. Because Discord tries to hurt the ponies, tries to have them change their natural selves, does not respect the ponies for who they are. I believe Discord is probably one of the true antagonists of the show. And now I shall close my analysis with Twilight Sparkle. Twilight Sparkle openly may represent an element of harmony. But there is a relevance and a connection to disability awareness that Twilight Sparkle represents that is more than just the element of magic. Twilight Sparkle's role is to study the magic of friendship under Princess Celestia. In doing so, she learns friendship lessons. But let me tell you something. Many of those friendship lessons in the show mirror and are similar to the friendship lessons taught to children with disabilities, children and adolescents with disabilities in special education and in social skills instruction, in schools, in special ed classrooms, and in therapeutic settings all over the world. Growing up with autism, I underwent many types of social skills classes, underwent various social skills curriculums, underwent play therapy with various forms. And one thing that amazed me when I first started watching My Little Pony was just how many of the friendship lessons in My Little Pony mirrored the social lessons that I grew up with. Indeed, there are many amazing social skills curriculums and many teaching methods created in the educational community for people with disabilities that mirror those friendship lessons, such as the Teach Town method. In the Teach Town method, 4 animated characters, 4 children who later become adolescents, teach friendship lessons and social lessons in a format very similar to My Little Pony. You can go on YouTube and look up Teach Town and watch the similarities between the Teach Town friendship lessons and the My Little Pony friendship lessons, even though My Little Pony is a TV show that was broadcast to the public, whereas Teach Town often is only used in specific educational settings. In addition, one of the top academics in the autism community, Dr. Brenda Smith-Miles, has created a term known as the hidden curriculum, which she refers to as the unspoken social rules that are expected to be followed in a society. And she's created an amazing curriculum where she teaches in a series of lessons, similar to the friendship lessons in My Little Pony, that are necessary for appropriate social behavior and often for friendship. So the experience that Twilight Sparkle goes through learning the magic of friendship in many ways mirrors the actual learning processes that many people with disabilities go through when they learn social skills and learn more about friendship. Now, the title of this session is Nightmare Nights Edition. I decided to make this title for a reason. I wanted this session to somehow fit to the theme of Nightmare Nights. Because, first of all, to me, Nightmare Nights, it's a cool holiday. And I really like how in the My Little Pony universe, there are so many holidays in that universe that relate to holidays in real life. And yes, Star Ponies and Coal Dust. Coal Dust. The idea of diversity being good is a great theme in seasons 8 and 9. And including with that diversity are the diversity of holidays. But Nightmare Nights and the holiday it's based on, Halloween, is a holiday that means a lot for many people with disabilities. Halloween is a very sacred holiday for me as an autistic person, because one thing that is very important to me is social inclusion. Being able to just talk to people and be treated like a human being. And one of the reasons why I enjoy going to conventions like My Little Pony conventions and anime conventions and furry conventions is because there people treat people like people. People are not others and strangers. It's so nice to be able to just talk to your fellow human beings and connect to them without being seen as weird, without having to see those people as these other, scary human beings. And the thing I love the most about Halloween is trick-or-treating, because it's one day of the year when neighbors talk to each other, when it's okay to walk to some random person's house, even as a trick-or-treater, and get to know them, get to see their face. Indeed, what I love so much about Halloween and Nightmare Nights is that both holidays involve that community interaction. And I have to thank the efforts of an organization that can be misunderstood, that is now known as the Autism Community in Action. This organization spearheaded a movement fighting for equality for Halloween. It is a movement that states that no one should be too old to trick or treat and interact with their community on that very sacred night. Just as every pony had the right to participate in Nightmare Nights, I firmly support the movement of the Autism Community in Action. Everyone should have the right to trick or treat. No one should be seen as too old to trick or treat, just as no pony should have been ostracized or shunned on Nightmare Nights. However, at the same time, probably one of the best examples of awareness of what it's like to be disabled, to not have the abilities of others in your world, is the example of the Cutie Mark Crusaders. So much of your status in the My Little Pony universe is based on having a cutie mark. And I really personally, I felt for the Cutie Mark Crusaders. I felt so bad for them, because they were judged so much. And they felt so inferior because they didn't have their cutie marks. I am now going to continue by playing the song Cutie Mark Crusaders, a song that symbolizes what it feels like when you lack a certain ability that others have in your universe. In so many ways, the song of the Cutie Mark Crusaders so much can relate to what it feels like to be disabled. As they sing, you're told just do certain things and you'll get your cutie marks. You're told just, be patient. But oftentimes when you have a disability, you do what others tell you and you still struggle. And yes, while the Cutie Mark Crusaders did eventually get their cutie marks, and yes, some people with disabilities, just like the Cutie Mark Crusaders, do develop skills later on in lives. It doesn't always work that way. But that song, the Cutie Mark Crusaders, is an excellent way of teaching awareness of what it feels like to have a disability and the frustration that you can feel when you don't have abilities that others do. In the end, though, probably the biggest message in the My Little Pony TV show that relates to disability awareness is that the magic of friendship is something that should be enjoyed by any pony and anyone. It doesn't matter if you're a unicorn pony or an earth pony. It doesn't matter if you're a donkey, a dragon, or any creature in that universe. The magic of friendship is for all. And that friendships need to be respected, even if they aren't conventional, even if people don't always understand them as such. I'll never forget how sad I felt when Sunburst and Starlight were forcibly separated, or were separated because of that Cutie Mark misunderstanding. So many real life friendships have had to end because people have separated disabled people from the people that really were their true friends because of misunderstandings of what friendship should be. So many people in our world believe the magic of friendship should only work or should only occur among certain people. Yet the magic of friendship should be for all. And yes, Star Ponies, like you, I did not understand why the show used to treat Spike as a lesser being as well. But perhaps that part of the show emerged because, in many ways, My Little Pony, just like other fandoms based on fictional universes, My Little Pony is a fandom that uses fiction to do what fiction does well. It uses a fandom and a universe as a way to teach awareness of issues that aren't that we don't always understand in our real world, or it uses a universe to teach awareness of real life struggles that we might not always understand. Because when you view something in a fictional universe, and I talked about this last night in my asexuality panel, you are somewhat separated because you don't live in that universe. You never will. So when Spike is treated as a lesser being, most viewers are going to feel for Spike. You are going to feel for Spike because you are not part of Equestria in the end. You are an outsider looking into Equestria. And you see how Spike is being treated lesser. And you might be thinking, this is wrong. And that's the beauty of a fictional universe and a fandom. Fandoms are great in teaching awareness about issues related to disability and elsewhere that we might not always understand in our real world. I am now going to continue by performing a song from the My Little Pony fandom that I think is such a great song. Initially, it was about the friendship between Sunburst and Starlight, but it really is an amazing song about defending the magic of friendship with whoever those friends might be. JFJF, originally performed by Koa and Pegasus. This song, initially about Sunburst and Starlight, hits home to me as a disability, as a person with a disability, because many disabled people often have to defend their friends, people that they are just friends with, to others who do not understand that.
They really think they know what's best for us.
Well, that's what they think, they don't know much. We can be just friends, just friends, just friends.
Why can't you let it get things right? Why can't you let it get things right? It's so difficult to see. You don't need any help. We're doing just fine.
Your shoulder.
Thank you, Koa. Thank you very much for sharing that amazing song about fighting for equality and the magic of friendship. The magic of friendship is a right for everyone. Before I close my panel, I am going to wish everybody a very great rest of your time at Ponyville Ciderfest 2020. Star Ponies, good luck with your development of the book series, Star Ponies Friends with Autism. I hope everyone today was able to learn about how you can use My Little Pony for disability awareness. And I hope that this panel will enable you to go back into your communities and teach people that you know in the My Little Pony fandom more about how My Little Pony can be utilized for disability awareness. Let's also to fight to make Halloween and Nightmare Nights an inclusive holiday for all. I shall now close with a song that probably most of you will not know, but a song dear to my heart from my childhood. As a child, when I was in the 4th grade, the music teacher in my elementary school, who was one of the most disability friendly and aware teachers in my school, had every class create an original class Halloween song. I shall now entertain everyone to close my panel with the Halloween song from the 4th grade, a song that he made sure everybody contributed to, including myself, the kid with autism who was often judged by my classmates. Thank you all for listening. If you want to ask me questions, feel free to join the main events chat. Otherwise, have an amazing evening.